Welcome to Ancient Mysteries. I'm your host, Ben Carter, and in today's episode we're uncovering one of the most captivating tragedies of the ancient world, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, and the subsequent destruction of the city of Pompeii. Buried under volcanic ash for nearly 2,000 years, Pompeii lay hidden until its rediscovery in the 18th century, providing an unprecedented snapshot of daily life in a Roman city during the 1st century AD. What happened to Pompeii? How did an entire city with its bustling streets, lavish homes and vibrant community suddenly come to a standstill, frozen in time by nature's fury? The mystery behind Pompeii's fate has fascinated historians, archaeologists and ordinary people alike for centuries, and the events leading up to that fateful eruption continue to captivate our imaginations. In this episode, we'll explore the eruption itself, the chilling remains of its people, the extraordinary archaeological discoveries that have been made, and the countless theories that surround what actually happened that fateful day. Was it merely an unfortunate natural disaster, or is there more to Pompeii's story? Could it have been a warning to other Roman cities, or is there something even more significant about the way this catastrophe unfolded? Let's journey back to the Roman Empire, to a day when everything was about to change, and unravel the mystery of Pompeii, an ancient city that continues to tell its story from beneath the ashes. Stay tuned. The city of Pompeii wasn't just an ordinary Roman settlement, it was a thriving hub of culture, commerce, and luxury. To truly understand the magnitude of its tragedy, we must first explore the vibrant world it inhabited. Situated in the Bay of Naples in southern Italy, Pompeii sat at the crossroads of trade and agriculture, benefiting from its fertile volcanic soil and access to maritime routes. Its strategic location allowed it to grow into a prosperous town, filled with bustling markets, lavish villas, and public spaces that reflected the grandeur of Roman civilization. By the 1st century AD, Pompeii was home to approximately 11,000 people, though some estimates suggest the population swelled to nearly 20,000 thanks to seasonal visitors and traders. Its streets were lined with bakeries, wine shops, and bathhouses. The Forum, a grand open square, was the beating heart of civic life, a place where politics, religion, and commerce intertwined. Temples to Roman gods like Jupiter and Apollo stood alongside bustling marketplaces, showcasing a city deeply connected to its cultural and spiritual roots. Socially, Pompeii reflected the hierarchical structure of Roman society. At the top were the wealthy elites, who lived in sprawling homes decorated with intricate mosaics and frescoes. These artworks often depicted mythological scenes, religious rituals, or everyday life, serving as both a status symbol and a glimpse into the values of the time. The middle class, including merchants and artisans, also thrived in Pompeii, contributing to its reputation as a dynamic and industrious city. Meanwhile, enslaved individuals and freedmen formed the backbone of its economy, working in homes, fields, and workshops. Pompeii wasn't just a city of hard work and commerce, it was also a place of indulgence and entertainment. The amphitheatre, which could hold up to 20,000 spectators, hosted gladiatorial games and other public spectacles. The nearby theatre offered plays and musical performances, while taverns and brothels catered to the city's more hedonistic appetites. Life in Pompeii was vibrant, colourful, and unapologetically Roman. However, this idyllic life wasn't without its challenges. The Bay of Naples was known for its seismic activity, and Pompeii itself had experienced earthquakes, including a particularly devastating one in 62 AD. While the city worked to rebuild, evidence suggests that some structures were left damaged or incomplete. Could these tremors have been a warning of the cataclysm to come? It's a question that lingers in the minds of historians and archaeologists. Religiously, Pompeii was a melting pot of beliefs. Alongside traditional Roman gods, the city embraced foreign deities and mystery cults. Temples to Isis, an Egyptian goddess, and murals hinting at Bacchic and Dionysian rites reflect a diverse spiritual landscape. These practices were often shrouded in secrecy, leaving modern scholars to wonder about their significance to the people of Pompeii, and whether they held any premonitions of disaster. Pompeii's cultural and historical context paints a picture of a city at its zenith, a place of ambition, indulgence, and resilience. But beneath this vibrant exterior lay vulnerabilities that would be exposed in the most devastating way. As we shift our focus to the events of that fateful day, we'll begin to unravel the mystery of Pompeii's sudden and tragic end. The mystery of Pompeii lies in its sudden catastrophic destruction and its eerie preservation. On the morning of August 24th, 79 AD, life in the city began like any other day. The streets buzzed with activity, merchants set up their stalls and families prepared meals. Yet just miles away, Mount Vesuvius, a looming presence in the distance, began to stir. The calm morning air would soon be shattered by one of history's most infamous volcanic eruptions. Eyewitness accounts, like that of Pliny the Younger, describe the eruption with terrifying clarity. Around midday, Vesuvius released a massive plume of ash and pumice into the sky, towering nearly 20 miles high. This Plinian eruption, named after Pliny, sent shockwaves through the region. The sun disappeared, cloaked by thick clouds of volcanic debris, plunging the city into darkness. For hours, ash and pumice rained down on Pompeii, collapsing rooftops and filling the streets. As the eruption intensified, a second, more deadly phase began. Vesuvius unleashed pyroclastic surges, fast-moving currents of hot gas, ash and debris that swept through the city at over 100 miles per hour. These surges, reaching temperatures of up to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, were inescapable. The residents of Pompeii were overcome in moments, their final movements frozen in time. But here's where the enigma deepens. How could such a thriving city have been caught so unprepared? Historical records suggest that the signs of volcanic activity had been present for years. The earthquake of 62 AD was likely linked to the volcano, and minor tremors in the days leading up to the eruption should have served as warnings. Yet Pompeians continued their lives as if disaster were unimaginable. The aftermath of the eruption left Pompeii buried under 13 to 20 feet of volcanic material. For centuries, the city lay forgotten, its ruins hidden beneath layers of ash and vegetation. It wasn't until 1599 that workers accidentally stumbled upon parts of the ancient city while digging a canal. Even then, its true significance wasn't recognized until systematic excavations began in the 18th century. What archaeologists uncovered was extraordinary: a city frozen in time. Homes were preserved with their frescoes and mosaics intact, revealing vivid snapshots of daily life. Food was found still sitting on tables, and bread loaves remained in ovens. The plaster casts of victims, created by filling the voids left by decomposed bodies in the ash, brought an eerie humanity to the disaster. These casts captured people in their final moments: a mother shielding her child, a man clutching his belongings, a dog struggling to escape. The completeness of Pompeii's preservation raises questions that remain unanswered. Why were so many caught unaware? Did they trust the stability of their city, or were they unaware of the true danger Vesuvius posed? And perhaps most hauntingly, how many stories were lost in those fateful hours, buried alongside the city? As we delve deeper into the evidence and discoveries unearthed in Pompeii, we begin to see the incredible value and the enduring mystery of what was left behind. Since the rediscovery of Pompeii in the 18th century, researchers have unearthed a treasure trove of artifacts and clues that have offered unprecedented insights into the daily lives of the Pompeians and the sheer magnitude of the disaster that struck the city. Every corner of the ruins holds new surprises, and each excavation reveals more about the ancient world that was abruptly interrupted by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Let's explore some of the most compelling discoveries that have shed light on the mystery of Pompeii. One of the most significant findings is the incredible preservation of Pompeii's buildings, homes, and public spaces. In many ways, the city is like a time capsule, frozen in place by the volcanic ash. Archaeologists have uncovered entire streets lined with shops, homes, bathhouses, and temples. Many of these structures still have intact frescoes, mosaics, and inscriptions that provide detailed glimpses into Roman life. The colourful wall paintings, often depicting gods, animals, and daily activities, reveal not only the artistic tastes of the time, but also the cultural and religious beliefs that shaped life in Pompeii. These vivid depictions, along with the intricate mosaics on floors, offer us a window into a world that might have otherwise been lost to history. Artifacts found in the homes of Pompeii provide an even deeper understanding of the lives of its residents. For example, an excavation of one wealthy Pompeian's villa revealed a library of scrolls. While many of the scrolls were damaged by the heat and ash, some still contained legible text. This discovery offers valuable insight into the intellectual pursuits and education of the city's elite. Additionally, Pompeii was a commercial hub, and numerous everyday objects have been uncovered, ranging from pottery, tools and lamps to jewelry, weapons and coins, each artifact telling a story about the city's economy, social class and trade networks. But perhaps the most chilling discovery came in the form of the plaster casts of the victims, a testament to the deadly power of the eruption. When Vesuvius erupted, the ash that fell on the city buried everything beneath it, including the people who perished in the chaos. Over time, the bodies decomposed, leaving behind voids in the volcanic ash. Archaeologists discovered that by pouring liquid plaster into these voids, they could create molds of the human forms trapped within. The resulting plaster casts are hauntingly detailed, showing the final moments of Pompeii's residents as they struggled to survive. These casts have been instrumental in understanding the eruption's impact, offering vivid snapshots of human suffering and the swift devastation caused by the pyroclastic surges. The study of Pompeii's skeletons has also helped researchers piece together the story of the eruption. Many of the bones discovered in the city show signs of trauma or heat-related injuries, consistent with the explosive volcanic activity. Some individuals were found with injuries that suggest they tried to escape, while others were found curled up or huddled together in the places where they sought shelter. The distribution of skeletal remains across the city provides further clues about the eruption's timeline, showing how different areas of Pompeii were impacted at different times by the eruption. Archaeologists have also discovered numerous artifacts that hint at Pompeii's vulnerability to the eruption. For example, some structures contain items like evacuated luggage, unfinished meals, and valuables, suggesting that people attempted to flee quickly or were caught unaware. This raises the question of how much the inhabitants knew about the impending eruption. Were they warned, or did they have no clue that the disaster was coming? The discovery of these personal items adds another layer of mystery to the events leading up to the eruption. In addition to artifacts and human remains, ongoing research has focused on the volcano itself. Recent studies of Mount Vesuvius have helped scientists better understand the eruption's true nature. By analyzing the layers of volcanic ash found at Pompeii, geologists have been able to reconstruct the eruption's timeline and examine how it unfolded. The data suggests that the eruption was not a single instantaneous event, but a prolonged series of explosive episodes, each with its own unique characteristics. These discoveries and ongoing research have brought Pompeii's story to life in ways we never could have imagined. Yet despite the wealth of knowledge we've gained, there are still countless questions left unanswered. How many more secrets lie buried beneath the ash, waiting to be uncovered? How much of the city's true story has yet to be told? As excavations continue, it seems that the mystery of Pompeii will persist, offering new revelations and leaving us with more questions than answers. As with any major archaeological discovery, the findings at Pompeii have sparked a wide range of scholarly debates. Researchers continue to examine the city's ruins, and in doing so, they often come across more questions than answers. From the eruption itself to the day-to-day life of Pompeii's residents, experts offer differing interpretations, and several areas of debate have emerged over the years. Let's take a closer look at some of the most intriguing and controversial discussions surrounding Pompeii's history. One of the most contentious issues is the nature and timing of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. While the eruption is famously dated to August 24th, 79 AD, there are several competing theories about whether this date is correct. Some historians argue that the eruption may have occurred earlier or later in the year, based on evidence such as the calendar dates on artifacts, inscriptions and coins found in Pompeii. While August 24th remains the widely accepted date, this debate has led scholars to reconsider how specific and reliable our historical records can be. Another major area of scholarly disagreement revolves around how much the residents of Pompeii actually knew about the impending eruption. While the city's sudden destruction suggests that many were taken completely by surprise, some researchers argue that the eruption may not have been as sudden as it appears. There are theories suggesting that earthquakes and other volcanic activity had preceded the eruption, and some Pompeians may have recognized the warning signs. Did the city's inhabitants have enough time to escape, or were they completely caught off guard? This debate touches on the psychological and emotional responses of the Pompeians in the face of disaster. Some experts believe the eruption was so catastrophic that survival instincts were overwhelmed by panic, while others suggest that the people of Pompeii were relatively calm in the face of danger, choosing to stay behind to protect their homes or finish their daily activities. The role of the Roman authorities in the eruption is another area of contention. Some scholars believe that the Roman government and its officials failed to issue proper warnings to the people of Pompeii, contributing to the city's high death toll. Others argue that, given the state of Roman science and the lack of understanding of volcanic activity at the time, there was no way for officials to anticipate or prepare for such an event. This issue raises further questions about how much responsibility the empire should bear for the disaster, especially considering that Pompeii was part of the Roman Empire, which prided itself on its infrastructure and public services. Beyond the eruption itself, the discovery of Pompeii has also prompted debates about the social structure and daily life of the city's residents. Pompeii was a thriving urban centre with a complex social hierarchy, but there are differing views on how this society functioned. Some researchers argue that Pompeii was a cosmopolitan, multicultural city, with inhabitants from all over the Roman Empire, while others contend that it was more of a provincial outpost where traditional Roman values were maintained. In particular, debates persist over the role of women in Pompeian society. The art, inscriptions, and artifacts discovered in Pompeii suggest that women had an active presence in both public and private life. But scholars remain divided over the extent to which they were empowered or limited by social norms. In addition to these discussions, some scholars have raised questions about the ethical implications of the excavation and preservation of Pompeii. The plaster casts of victims, in particular, have sparked debates over the respectful treatment of human remains. While these casts provide invaluable insights into the eruption and the people who lived through it, some argue that they should be reconsidered in terms of cultural sensitivity. The remains of Pompeii's citizens were originally buried under volcanic ash, but their fate is now on public display, and some feel that this may cross ethical boundaries in the quest for historical knowledge. Lastly, the overall interpretation of Pompeii as a snapshot of Roman life has also been a point of contention. Many see the city as a perfectly preserved time capsule, frozen in the moments leading up to its destruction, offering an unparalleled view of ancient Roman society. But others argue that Pompeii was not a typical Roman city, and that the events surrounding its destruction are more complex than simply offering a glimpse into the everyday life of the empire. They point out that Pompeii's destruction was an anomaly, and that it may not be an accurate representation of the wider Roman world. As scholars continue to debate these issues, there is one thing that most agree on. The discovery of Pompeii has radically altered our understanding of ancient Rome. It's provided us with a glimpse into the past that is both extraordinary and haunting. But as new research is conducted and new questions arise, it seems that the mysteries of Pompeii will continue to fuel academic debates for years to come. These scholarly debates, whether about the eruption itself, the cultural context of Pompeii, or the ethical treatment of the remains, only add to the allure and mystique of this ancient city. The more we uncover, the more we realize how much we have yet to understand about one of history's most famous catastrophes. When it comes to ancient mysteries, some theories venture far beyond the boundaries of mainstream scholarship and into the realm of the speculative and fringe. The lost city of Pompeii, with its haunting preservation and sudden destruction, has inspired some truly unconventional ideas about what may have happened and why. While most experts agree on the basic historical facts, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, and the devastating consequences for the city, There are some who believe there is much more to Pompeii's story than what we know. One of the more outlandish theories ties Pompeii's destruction to a much grander cosmic event. According to some fringe theorists, the eruption of Vesuvius was not just a natural disaster, but was triggered by an extraterrestrial force. This theory suggests that the eruption may have been caused by a UFO or alien intervention. Supporters of this idea point to the suddenness and intensity of the eruption, claiming that it was not a typical volcanic event, but rather one with an otherworldly influence. There are even claims that the firestorms created by the eruption, when the hot volcanic ash and gases combined with the surrounding atmosphere, resembled fiery UFO-like phenomena, which some say were the result of alien technology. Though there's no evidence to support this idea, the theory has captured the imagination of conspiracy theorists and enthusiasts of the unexplained. Another wild theory suggests that Pompeii's destruction wasn't solely due to the eruption itself, but was the result of a weapon of mass destruction created by the ancient Romans, or possibly even a lost civilization. The idea is that the Roman Empire, or some other ancient civilization, possessed advanced technology that was able to harness the power of volcanoes or manipulate natural disasters. Proponents of this theory argue that the eruption was not a natural event, but a deliberate attack designed to destroy the city for reasons unknown. Some even suggest that Pompeii was targeted due to its proximity to political unrest, or that the eruption was part of an ancient experiment gone terribly wrong. This theory, though lacking in any factual basis, suggests that Pompeii's destruction may have been a deliberate act of warfare or experimentation by an ancient power with knowledge beyond what we currently understand. Another speculative idea ties the eruption of Mount Vesuvius to a religious or apocalyptic prophecy. Some believe that the eruption was not just a random natural disaster, but a fulfillment of an ancient prophecy that foretold the end of a civilization or even the world itself. According to this idea, the eruption of Vesuvius was a divine retribution, a punishment sent by the gods for some form of moral or societal transgression. This theory draws from ancient texts and religious beliefs that viewed natural disasters as acts of divine will. In some versions of the theory, Pompeii's destruction is viewed as the final judgment of a decadent and corrupt society, meant to serve as a warning for future generations. This apocalyptic narrative is certainly an alluring one, and it adds a layer of spiritual or cosmic significance to what otherwise might be seen as a natural catastrophe. Then there's the theory that Pompeii was actually a test site for a much larger global event, an experiment in mass extinction. Some theorists suggest that the eruption was not just a localized tragedy, but a pilot test for a global-scale catastrophe orchestrated by secretive elites. This theory posits that ancient civilizations, possibly including the Romans, were in possession of the knowledge and technology to trigger cataclysmic events and wipe out entire populations. Pompeii, being a thriving urban center, was the perfect candidate for an experiment in social collapse. According to this theory, the destruction of Pompeii was part of a larger effort to study the effects of such a disaster and possibly even control the fate of entire civilizations. Although there is no historical or archaeological evidence to support such claims, the idea of Pompeii as a test case for an apocalyptic event adds a layer of intrigue to the city's tragic history. One of the most bizarre theories surrounding Pompeii is the idea that the city was actually time-warped or suspended in time before being destroyed. According to this theory, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius caused a rift in the fabric of time and space, trapping the city in a temporal anomaly. Some proponents of this theory suggest that Pompeii was a place where different eras collided, and the people of the city were caught in an unexplainable moment, doomed to be frozen in time for eternity. In this speculative version of history, Pompeii was not just a city destroyed by a volcanic eruption, it was a place where time itself was altered, and the people who lived there were forever trapped between moments. This theory has no scientific grounding, but it taps into a fascination with time travel and alternate realities, which makes it an alluring and eerie concept for those who enjoy pondering the supernatural. Lastly, There are those who argue that Pompeii was part of a much larger global network of advanced ancient civilizations, which was deliberately erased from history. This theory suggests that Pompeii was just one of many cities around the world that was destroyed or forgotten in a cataclysmic event, orchestrated by some hidden or lost civilization. According to this idea, the eruption of Vesuvius was just one piece of a much larger puzzle, involving the deliberate wiping out of knowledge and technology that could have advanced human civilization. Proponents of this theory argue that the knowledge of advanced engineering, astronomy, and other sciences that existed in ancient cultures has been systematically erased, and Pompeii's destruction was part of this global effort. These fringe theories, while far from conventional, remind us that the mystery of Pompeii is far from solved. For every theory rooted in scientific evidence, there's a more speculative and often surreal narrative that captures the imagination. As with any great mystery, the allure of Pompeii lies not just in what we know, but in what we don't know, and perhaps in the wildest theories of all. As we come to the end of our exploration into the lost city of Pompeii, we find ourselves surrounded by more questions than answers. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius, which struck suddenly in 79 AD, has undoubtedly left an indelible mark on history. It buried the thriving Roman city under a thick blanket of ash, preserving its buildings, artwork, and even the bodies of its residents. But as we've learned today, the destruction of Pompeii raises more than just historical questions. It prompts us to dive deep into mysteries, speculative theories, and debates that continue to captivate historians, archaeologists, and curious minds alike. We've examined the facts, the eruption, the devastating effects on the city, and the remarkable way in which Pompeii was preserved for centuries beneath volcanic debris. But we've also touched upon the enigmas that still remain. Why was Pompeii so thoroughly entombed? What deeper, perhaps even darker, truths lie beneath the ashes? Some suggest that Pompeii's destruction was no mere natural disaster, but part of a larger, more mysterious pattern of global events or cosmic interventions. The idea that the city was the victim of extraterrestrial interference, ancient weaponry, or even a time warp anomaly are just a few of the wild theories that continue to intrigue. Though the eruption's effects on the people and structures of Pompeii are well documented, we still don't fully understand the nuances of the event. Some scholars argue that much of the story we think we know about Pompeii has been shaped by the findings of later excavations, while others believe that secrets have been deliberately hidden by those who fear what might be uncovered. Is Pompeii's tragic end simply a result of a natural disaster, or was there a much more intentional force at work? Pompeii remains a window into the past, but it is also a mirror reflecting our own curiosity and thirst for the unknown. With each new discovery, we come closer to understanding the city's final moments, but with each new theory, we are reminded that some mysteries may never be fully solved. Perhaps that is the true allure of Pompeii. It is a place frozen in time, its final hours never truly understood, and its secrets waiting to be unlocked by those brave enough to explore them. Next time on Ancient Mysteries, we'll turn our attention to another fascinating historical enigma, the mysterious collapse of the Mayan civilization. Why did one of the most advanced societies of the ancient world suddenly vanish from history? What caused the rapid decline of the Mayans, and how did they leave behind such intricate yet puzzling remnants of their culture? Tune in as we delve into the theories and mysteries surrounding the fall of the Mayans, another ancient civilization that continues to captivate and mystify to this day. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Ben Carter, and this has been another episode of Ancient Mysteries. Don't forget to follow and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Share this episode with your fellow mystery enthusiasts, and be sure to connect with us on social media for behind-the-scenes content and exclusive updates. Join us next time for another exciting journey into the world of ancient mysteries. Until then, stay curious.